Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I will assume that people can hear me, and I'll just keep going. Our webinar, for this webinar, we originally had multiple women tech makers to join, but today I'm going to host this session by myself. And so again, welcome to the webinar, Redefine Possible, Get Google Cloud Certified in 2025. So today I'm representing as a Google Women Techmaker Ambassador for this webinar. As a community leader, I leverage a global network and exclusive resources to foster a world where women can thrive in tech. I promote the cause of women tech makers by hosting events, giving speeches. Okay, great. Creating content and mentoring. Well, thank you, Prisha. I see your message saying that you can hear me. Great. Thank you. From my end, I see 0 participants for some reason. So your comment is greatly appreciated. All right. So I'm going to talk about why I decided to host this webinar. For the past 2 years, I was able to earn 2 Google Cloud certifications. And as a part of a perk as a Google Women Techmaker, I was able to, I was privileged to gain access to cohort-based learning programs. So as a way of giving back to the community, I decided to host this session to inspire you to start your own Google Cloud journey. And yeah, so that's my why. And also the goal of this session is to inspire you to embark your own Google Cloud certifications by sharing my personal journey and resources. All right, so let me change the view to this way. So this is the agenda that I have for today, the introduction, and I'm going to talk about my personal journey pursuing 3 different certifications. One is professional machine learning engineer. The second one is called a professional cloud architect. And then the third one, cloud digital leader. And then I'm allocating for 15 minutes for Q&A. So let me enable a banner. So hopefully you can see this banner at the bottom. Like if you could post your questions in a comment. So right now I see 6 comments and I can see. So yes, so this session is hosted by one person, which is me. So if you might notice some glitch and slowness, so I appreciate your patience in advance. So yeah, so if you could post your questions, then I can see it. So I will be able to answer questions at the end of this session. I see Mohammed, you say you cannot hear me. Can anybody else hear me okay? No sound. Oh no. So I see I can, so 12 participants so far. Yeah, thank you. And then no sound. I can hear, but cannot see anything. I'm not sure why. Oh, okay, great, Dave. Thank you. I see your comment. You can hear and see. Yeah, so maybe there might be a possibility that there's a slowness with the internet. Yeah, Prisha, thank you. I can see your comment. You can see and hear me. Yeah, great. So maybe I'll just keep going. Yeah, so this is agenda. So I collected these statistics, and I think it's important to introduce. So let me go over them. Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, so by 2030, AI will contribute to more than 15.7 trillion to the global economy. And then with that, 83% of companies are committed to prioritize AI in the business plan. And by 2030, 70% of skills needed for work will change. However, only 14% of organizations have a formal AI training policy. And interestingly, almost 60% of employees are pursuing AI training on their own. So with this data, I thought I have the opportunity to encourage you to consider pursuing Google Cloud certification as a pathway to upskilling AI. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So Google Cloud has kind of like 3 different categories by level. The first category is a fundamental certification, and this is more for a beginner level certification, introductory certification. And then the middle one is associate certification. So I consider this intermediate. And then the last one is professional certification, and this is more advanced. For foundational certification, today I'm going to talk about Cloud Digital Leader. And this certification is good for people, non-technical professionals who are interested in gaining understanding, like basic understanding about cloud. So that this certification is good for that. For me, I skipped the associate level certification, then jumped onto professional certifications. So today I'm going to talk about professional machine learning engineer and professional cloud architect. But if the target audience for associate certification are those technical resources who has less than 3 years of professional experience. And then for professional certification, typically these certifications are suited for professionals with more than 3 years of experience. Yeah, so for foundational certification, as a part of being a Google Women Techmaker, I had the privilege of access to Google Cloud certification training program for free in exchange to giving back to the community by hosting an event like this. So the first experience I encountered was called Google Launchpad for Women. Google identified that only 14% of women are in the cloud workforce, and they wanted to make a difference. And they designed this Launchpad for Women certification training and certification training for Google Women Taker. And I was fortunate to be accepted into the first cohort. So this program, it was a instructor-led training. Sorry, I'm looking at my note. Oh, sorry, this one. So even though this was beginner level courses, this instructor did an amazing job, and she kind of explained the concept in a digestible manner. And this was 3 weeks training in collaboration with a third-party training vendor called ROI Training. And through this, I kind of learned like basic Google Cloud concepts, as well as products and services. And also this course helped me to prepare how to study and prepare to take a Google Cloud certification exam. So this was a very good introductory. I have more than 15 years of work experience in consulting, particularly in AI and data. So the concepts those were covered in this course were not like totally new, but it was still a good refresher. And also I still like this course helped me to identify the gap so that I gain confidence in, you know, having a comprehensive understanding about cloud. And yeah, and then because this course also went over like practice questions, which was really helpful. And then I took a test. Because this certification is for beginner, many of the questions were more like fact-based, you know, like so meaning like if you kind of remember the concepts, you would be able to identify the correct answer. And it's kind of relatively easy to pass, I would say. But the benefit that I gained from this was, you know, like as I mentioned, like this course helped me understand how to strategize in taking the Google Cloud certification test, kind of gave me the opportunity to experience the online certification environment, and also helped me fill the gap. So after this, after earning the certification, I have more confidence with the understanding of like a comprehensive understanding of cloud. And the next exposure with professional level certification was professional machine learning engineer. So I started my upskilling. In AI back in 2023. I read and also watched this YouTube video titled AI for Everyone by Andrew Ng. And he talked about, you know, AI is going to be like accessible to everyone, and even, you know, his pizzeria around his corner will one day gain access to AI, so that he would be able to do a predictive analysis on like pizza order demand and supply and etc. So that was a kind of eye-opening pivotal moment for me that made me realize, okay, I need to, you know, really take it seriously in upskilling AI. So what I approached was, I decided to use Kaggle because Kaggle was known for like a data scientist, and like people often go there to participate in competition. But I noticed that they also gave me like a beginner level hands-on part. So anyone who's interested in gaining hands-on experience with data science and AI to do a small project. So I use Kaggle to complete to like a very kind of like a simple data science AI projects on my own. And then while I was doing that, like, you know, kind of a question came to my mind. Like, so for example, like when someone says pipeline, like what kind of a pipeline are they talking about? Because when I'm reading the comments, or like when people like leave a comment in my notebook, they will say pipeline, but sometimes it sounds like data pipeline for data, and sometimes it sounds like pipeline for production deployment, you know, deploying the model to a production. Yes, and so those kind of questions came into my mind, and as I go through this personal project, it was kind of painful because I was writing Python code, first, cleanse the data, build a model using the very basic type of model, and then experimented with the different models, and then compare the performance. And then once I identified the best performing model, then I tried to identify which features had more impact and influence to the outcome of the model. So this experience was great because, when someone said data cleansing or data wrangling or, explore different models, I know exactly what they're talking about. So that was a very valuable experience. But the curiosity, some of the questions which were not answered include, it seems like there are multiple types of data, multiple types of pipelines, and is there any easier way? Since I heard about Google Vertex AI, by using this Vertex AI or AutoML, you don't even need to write the code. So I was very curious, and in order for me to gain understanding around these topics, I thought pursuing this professional machine learning engineer would give me a structured way to study. So instead of kind of nitpicking, selecting here and there kind of courses, I decided to use this certification as my kind of a personalized learning curriculum, so that I don't need to, look for courses. I just need to complete the courses defined within the learning path. So that was the kind of thinking process. And then I started studying for that. And I went to Google Next last year. And they were offering complimentary instructor-led Google Cloud certification training and certification program. So I applied for that, and I was luckily accepted into this program. So this program was offered only to Google customers, but this was intensive 10 weeks training, and the instructor from Datatonics, they came to, I think, once a week, I think, I don't remember, but 10 weeks, and he would go over, strategy. Oh, I think he will go over very basic concepts, and then he will talk us through, go over the practice questions. And while we were going through those, he also explained, the strategy on how to select the best answer. Sometimes all of the answer choices might be correct, but the test takers need to understand what was asked so that we can select the best, not the correct answers, so that we will be able to mark the question correct in order to pass the exam. So that was my experience, and I have to say, this exam was difficult, and because I had this, kind of a painful experience doing my personal machine learning AI projects, so that really helped, because when I read the questions, for example, I understand I speak English, so I can read and understand what the question is saying. But, to comprehend what the question is asking and, asking me to select the best answer, that required foundational knowledge in machine learning and AI. Yes, so that was my experience with a professional machine learning engineer. And then Yeah, so sorry. So my experience with this is hands-on experience prior to pursuing this certification helped. And also like understanding the test strategy shared by this instructor from Datatonic really helped. And then it was kind of painful going through this certification journey, but I kind of gained understanding on how to prepare, how to study, and how to prepare for the certification exam. So I apply the same like a strategy and execution for the professional cloud architect. So for professional cloud architect, I decided to pursue this certification because before data science and AI became a highly demand skill that organizations seek. Cloud used to be a very high in demand. Like I saw a lot of like cloud projects when I used to work in a consulting company, professional services industry. Yeah. So and again, I received this invitation because I am a Google Women Techmaker. And then this invitation asked me if I'm interested in participating in a cohort-based learning program. So I sign up, and then again, I apply the same method, which is, so for this case, I did not necessarily had a hands-on experience, but maybe because I started my career in Oracle database, like I was already familiar with storage, network, infrastructure. So when I was going through the learning learning courses, it was kind of like a dry in material, and it was not as like interesting as professional machine learning engineer, to be honest. But so maybe because of that, like my initial intention, like my approach to this certification was, okay, let me go through the courses, and then I'm going through the practice questions, and then I will take the test, and then I was kind of convinced I will be able to pass. But then I quickly realized that I need to study with more intention. So I restarted going through the courses, and then take the practice test, and then take the test, and I was able to pass. So I'm going to do a screen share, and then the method that works for me to pass all these 3 certifications, and hopefully you will gain value out of it. So the first step, and I'm going to share my screen. I hope it works. If not, I will just voice over. So the first step is it's very important to understand what the certification is for. So in this case, because recently I got certified with the professional cloud architect, so my memory is kind of fresh. And maybe if someone could let me know if you can see my screen. And I'm showing, you should see professional cloud architect screen. And I'm checking on my end to see if I can see. Yeah, Okay, yes, thank you, Dave. So maybe I'm trying to share my screen, but maybe it's not successful. So I'm going to stop and I'll just talk voiceover. So the first step I did was I reviewed the certification exam, like what is this certification is about, like what is the format of this exam, how many questions, and who this certification is for, that kind of information. And then once I understand the basic information about the certification, and then I made sure that I'm kind of convinced that yes, this is a certification that I would like to pursue. Then I went to a learning path specific for professional cloud architect. And then here you will see a list of 19 activities, 19 courses. So, so as I mentioned earlier, like when the benefit of pursuing certification and then using this as a pathway to upskill in AI, it's already customized for you. So all you need to do is to take a course at a time, and then so that was kind of like easier way to structure my study. And so what I did was I created a study plan. So one specific worksheet, I would create, course by course. Okay, so within the course, how many modules exist? And I also documented from this date to this date, so that when I start one particular module within the course, I document when I started this course, and then I also documented when I ended this module within the course, so that I know exactly when I need to pick up my study, because ideally, and I try to study every single day, but sometimes life happens, and I may not have had a time to study every day. And when I had this gap, sometimes with all the intention to remember everything, sometimes it's hard to remember where I left off. So that's why this study plan with tracking capability for all the courses within the learning path was helpful. So I created one worksheet for that. And also the second, what I did was within the professional cloud certification page, there is a sample questions, like 21 questions. So even though I was very beginning of the journey, I just went ahead and captured all the questions and answered, and transfer this information into a new worksheet in my study plan. And the purpose of that is I will try to kind of familiarize myself with key terminologies, or keep a technical terms and terminologies that I am not familiar with, so that when I go through the courses, I can kind of pay attention to those keywords, or when I'm going through the courses, and if I encounter those keywords, I will pay extra attention, because I know that these keywords appeared in the sample questions. So going through the courses within the learning path, it was more like a passive way of learning, I would say. I say passive because you watch the video. And another tip is I made a note. I always took note, so that my mind kind of trying to capture the key information. What I noticed is that if I just listen to the video without taking notes, I didn't remember anything, and also I did not have anything to refer back to. So I took note. I made sure I took note when I was going through the courses. And then I talked about the sample questions, but the purpose of documenting, like transferring the questions and answer choices into a worksheet within the study plan was so that I can, keep an eye on keywords, so that when the keywords appear in the course materials, I will pay attention. So that was the purpose of sample questions. Sample questions are, I would say, like very difficult questions. So I scored terrible, but please don't discourage. I encourage you to use this as a strategy to prepare for a certification exam. And also another thing I did was, within this Professional Cloud Architect certification page, there is a study guide, which is in a PDF format. So what I did was I paid attention to, so this study guide is organized by sections and the key topics in the bullet points for each of the subsections. So again, what I did was I transferred this information into a new worksheet within my study note, study plan. And then again, similar to the approach that I have taken for sample questions, I review, the topics and kind of trying to familiarize myself with all the keywords, like for example, VPC, peering, firewalls, and etc. Some terms are familiar, but some are not. And also, like when I was going through this, I tried to pay attention to like a special groupings. Like for example, oftentimes the VPC, network, subnets, those terminologies like appear in groups. So I try to kind of pay attention to why, connecting these three terms are important. So like I trying to always, like asking questions, like why these three appear in pairs, and why, like this firewall concept I need to know for this examination. So I try to make my learning active. Yeah, so once I create this structure in my study plan with three worksheets, one is for course list of courses, so that I can use this as a tracking spreadsheet, so that like I can easily identify which module within a course I started, and then when I completed, and what is the next module for a specific course I need to do next. The second tab within the study group, study plan, I had this sample questions, and the purpose of that was to be able to kind of familiarize myself with the key terminologies, so that when I go through the study materials, courses in learning plan, or like when I'm going through the exam guide, which I transfer the information into the third worksheet, I can kind of refer back, between multiple tabs, so that my mind is always active in connecting the dots and trying to make sense of why it's important for me to understand this concept. This is specific to cloud architect, professional cloud architect certification exam. But for this particular exam, you would be asked to read 2 case studies and then select the best answer. So this format of the exam was new, different from professional machine learning engineer and cloud digital leader. So I recommend to all the test takers to familiarize with the format ahead of time, so that you will not be surprised when you take the exam. But I think the concept is the same. Cloud digital leader, this is more like a question and answer, more direct question and answer. Once you move on to professional level certifications, you are expected to understand the scenario, understand the requirements, understand the current architecture, and then you will be identified the best answer which will address the goal as best answer choice that will address the goal for that specific question. And then for this particular scenario-based question format, not all of the questions are scenario-based questions for professional cloud architect certification. Like I would say, like 1/3 was this case study-based questions, and then the rest were multiple multi-select questions that I saw in professional machine learning engineer certification and cloud digital leader. But this 1/3, of the exam portion allocated for professional cloud architects was a little different. So I highly recommend and encourage that you familiarize yourself with the exam format before scheduling an exam. So yeah, so that's my experience. So it's 8:38. So I would look at the comment section to see if you have any questions. Yes, I'm showing a Q&A slide, but I am taking questions. So I will just go over these 5 points on Q&A slide. So the first point is benefit of joining a community cohort-based program. I personally like to join community-based cohort-based program. The reason is because I will be studying on my own, but also have the sense that other people within the cohort are also studying. And also, like when someone, go ahead and take the exam and let the community cohort know that they have passed, that encouraged me to, keep going and studying for the exam. And then the second topic is success factors. So these 3 success factors were very important for me to be successful. The one is the mindset. The earlier you decide that, okay, no matter how hard my personal life or studying going to be, I am going to pass this exam kind of mindset. That was very important, so that I would keep going, moving forward. And then the structure, because Google Cloud certification came with a learning path, so that gave me the opportunity to just go through the courses in the flow, and that helped me, like eliminated the need for me to create my own customized learning solution for the exam. And then the consistency, I try to study every single day, including weekends. And like when I when I decide to go through the courses, I made sure that at least complete 2 modules within the course, so that I will continue to make progress, because there are so many materials So that was the consistency that I executed. Let me read this comment. Hi, Julia. Thanks for your insight. I was wondering how we could also be part the free cohort-based program. Are there any links? Yes. Yeah. So good question. So I have prepared a resources document material, and I would be sharing this information. And I will just add a link. Probably I will add a link in a comment section, or I might create a post, repost this event so that you would all be able to see. The one cohort-based learning program I know that is available is called Get Certified, and it goes by edition 1, 2, 3, and stuff like that. And they make this Get Certified program available for like around 4 certifications. And sometimes not all of them are available for edition 1 through 4. So you need to see which one you would like to pursue, and because all the applications are closed, so I recommend that you apply on a wait list so that when the cohort program, the next cohort opens, you would be considered. And one important key information to apply for this Get Certified program, I just showed a question from LinkedIn user. Thank you for your question. Is that you need to apply this Get Certified program using your corporate email address. Once you would be accepted into the program, you are free to use Google account to go through the skills boost training, because like you could move around companies, but you probably want to use the same Google account to do the skills boost labs. So this program can be flexible that way, but to apply and to get accepted into the program, you need to use your corporate email address. Yes, so I will share this information. I will share this link to, it's called Get Certified program. So I highly recommend that you click on this link and then apply for the next cohort if you see one of the certifications available for next cohort. All right, so I talked about success factors and the tips for studying for the exam. Yes, so cloud digital leader, this is more like a basic. So I don't think it does not require hands-on experience, but as you pursue more like advanced certification, like I'm particularly talking about like professional level certifications, having work experience, having like hands-on experience will really help. And then the reason I say it is because, like when you read the questions in the exam, like you need to be able to understand what the issue, what the problem you are asked to solve by selecting the best answer. And without comprehensive understanding, and I think this comprehensive understanding comes from doing hands-on and like struggle through and troubleshoot some issues. And with my experience, this like a struggle and hands-on experience really helped me really understand end-to-end like machine learning process, etc. Yes, so that's my tip for studying for the exam. So hands-on experience, and then make sure that you invest your time in creating a structured study plan, so that this will eliminate your cognitive load of trying to remember where you ended and what you need to do next, and etc. And then the third important things to prepare for the exam is make sure that you take the practice questions, practice tests. So I talked about sample questions that came with embedded in the certification page, Google page, but I recommend that you invest in purchasing practice questions, and I will share this information. And what I used is called Wiz Labs. It's called Wiz Labs, and they also offer like videos and labs and etc. But I gain access to Skills Boost. So Google environment gave me all the labs for me to do. So I did not purchase labs from Wiz Lab. I only purchased sample questions, and I think that's enough. Another thing I'm going to share in the resources material is linked to earn 35 no-cost learning credits. So these credits, you want to make sure that put in the chat. So I'm sorry, I cannot. Yes, with labs. Yes, thank you. If you do a search, you would be able to see it. And like I purchased this practice questions from WizLab during Thanksgiving. So they were offering this like a special discount. So if you know that you're going to pursue a specific certification, and I think when I went today, I think they had a discount. So if you really know which one to pursue, you might as well, grab it and then use it for later. But like going through practice tests were key to my success. And then the reason I say it is going through practice questions gave me the opportunity to solve real world problems, which was not given by going through, course materials and sample questions and exam guide. So I highly recommend that you purchase WizLab. And when I took the practice test, again, like I failed like multiple times, and it could be discouraging, but I saw this as an opportunity to further prepare for the exam, for the certification exam. So don't be discouraged that you failed or like scored really bad, because this is part of preparing for the certification. And another thing I also wanted to say is the labs that comes in a Skills Boost can be very difficult and challenging. And I say it is because, I am not a, hardcore Python programmer. So for me to, trying to read someone else's code and trying to understand what each line of code is doing for, in like developing a machine learning pipeline or like deploying a model to a production, it was very difficult for me. And the fact is, you don't need to know how to write Python code for these specific tasks. So, the exam is only for 2 hours and 50 to 60 questions. So they are not going to ask you to, write a piece of code, Python code, or debug, a code. There is no questions like that. So when you are going through the labs, and it's going to be difficult, and sometimes it's frustrating because sometimes you have to run for a long period of time for, like running a model to finish. Yeah, but as a part of the preparation for the exam, I highly recommend that you just focus on, the workflow. Okay, so as a part of like a retraining model, so, like you identify this, is it data drift or something? And once identify that, the machine learning engineer, they need to, rerun the model with new set of data set, and etc. So if you can kind of like understand the steps and what is involved, that is enough to pass the professional level exam. For professional cloud architect, I have to say, like, I did the labs and it was kind of like foreign to me, maybe because I didn't do it like setting up a network and etc. I've never done that in my professional experience. As a professional experience, my experience was limited to the lab, but like I'm more interested in, performing as a solution architect, kind of like a high level architecting the solution type of person. So I just focus on, okay, so what is this for me to accomplish this task? What is the high level step I need to do in order to achieve this specific task? So, if you can kind of like organize the information in this manner, it suffices. And tips for taking the exam. So you would have two options. You can take exam using online proctor, meaning you will, sit at your normal desk at home and then take a test, or you will go to a physical location and take the exam. I decided to take online because it gave me more flexibility. And when I say flexibility, online certifications had a lot more dates that I could choose from. And also, it was more comfortable and convenient for me to take the exam. One painful things about taking online exam is that you need to clear your desk. And once you are invited to the online proctor environment, you need to like show the entire room by moving the camera of your PC, so that I think the objective of this is to make sure that test takers are not cheating in any way possible. So that was a little painful, but online taking exam using online proctor worked for me. If you have like a pets or family members or constant noise, and if you are in the environment to take the test, I encourage you to consider going to a physical location, so that you will be fully focused. You will be able to fully focus on your exam. Another important tip to prepare for the exam was make sure that you're not fatigued. Make sure that you're not tiring your mind a day before the exam, because on the day of the exam, you need to sit at your desk for 2 hours, and you really need to focus on reading the question, understanding the questions, and then selecting the best answer for that question. And that takes a lot of mental focus, mental clarity, and energy. So I highly recommend that you are well rested a day before the exam. So we have 4 minutes, and final thoughts. Yes, so maybe the benefits, maybe I didn't really talk about benefits. So the benefits that I gained from pursuing Google Cloud certification is that by using this structured curriculum, it helped me to identify the gap in my knowledge and also validate my knowledge and capabilities in doing like machine learning tasks, or setting up a cloud environment in a lab environment. And also it was a pleasant joy when I attended Google Next and Google I/O, and then when I'm listening to the speakers talk, like for example, like shift and lift or something, or like when I understood what this person is talking about. So that was really enlightening experience, I would say. And those were benefits for me to pursue this certification. And then the last benefit is that we are expected to live in a world where, we are expected to use AI responsibly. So in order for us, so I see a world where, like myself and you would be developing AI apps in the future. And in order for us to be able to do that, we also need to be mindful about responsible AI. So understanding the benefits, limitations of AI, Google Cloud's AI products and services, even though I may not remember everything, but knowing that, if I hear some like keywords, I know exactly what this person is talking about, at the like a high level concept. And also I would know where to look to, gain more information. I find this ability to be able to do so, like kind of like pieces in a puzzle, like I understand each pieces, and if I'm expected to develop a specific solution, I kind of know how to approach it because I understand each of the pieces. And even though I may not necessarily understand each of the pieces deeply, I know where to go to find the information to get the job done. So those are my 3 benefits that I gained. So 1 minute. Well, thank you so much for joining this session. I hope you were able to hear me and found the insight helpful. And as I mentioned at the beginning, my goal of hosting this webinar is to inspire you to start your journey, start your upskilling in AI journey. And I find pursuing Google Cloud certification as a pathway to do that, to upskilling AI is one of the, I'm sure there are many, but one of the effective way to do that. And I, with my experience, my opinion, Google does a great job in creating a quality training materials. So I highly recommend that you consider pursuing Google Cloud certification as a pathway to upskill in AI. So this will conclude this webinar, and thank you so much. And I will be sharing the resources that I talked about in this session. Thank you and good night.